Hello. Hey, Mimi. How are you? Hey, Rissa. Rissa, I heard you over there. I heard you on that channel. I heard you over there, Rissa. I was in the bushes watching. Hey, Lady Earth. I was in the bushes watching. Oh, you was in the lion's den over there. They were going in, and the sad thing is, I hate everybody's talking without knowing the facts. They had somebody come in with the an old superseding indictment. She didn't even use the December one, and so I was like, oh Lord, okay. Mm, mm, mm. It was called some channel called Information Man. It was Information Man or something like that. I'm waiting for everybody to come in so they could read the Curcio. I'm sorry, I'm yawning. The Curcio. I was waiting for everybody to come in so they could do the Curcio. Yeah, they were a little. You were in that lion's den, Arissa. You were in that lion's den. It was funny because they have their mindset. Mm, mm, mm. I'm waiting for folks to come on in. Where are they at? Where are they at? There you go, Larissa. Hey, lady. Oh, you got kicked out. You hit the wrong button. Here you go, the link again. You hit the wrong button. Click it. You can wait till they come in. Hey, Tanya.
Hello, Miss Sylvia.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Hey, Tanya.
Hello, Miss Sylvia.
How are you? You ain't got anything
Good,
repeat.
how are you?
That's
Hey,
you.
Tanya. Hello, Miss Sylvia.
Look, that's Marissa. Turn your thing down.
Yep, I got it. Y'all hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you.
I'm sorry, y'all doing a reading or something, right?
Yeah, but I was waiting on them to come in. They're not in yet. But you in that lion's den, huh?
Yeah, they was roasting me. They was roasting me.
Man,
The Bosky helped me out a little bit.
yeah, they were. Ugh.
You can't change the mind of certain people. They have their mind made up that he's guilt, that he is who he, and I mean
You know
that's
what
all.
bothers me so bad is that they keep talking about this Aaliyah thing, Aaliyah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Aaliyah, if Aaliyah's parents did not say anything, this is 30 years ago, 20 something years ago. Why y'all still talking about it?
Yeah.
Because
I
they
don't
don't have anything else to talk about.
Yeah.
I don't get it. And then they supposed to be Captain Savior. They're gonna help Aaliyah, but none of y'all helped her when supposedly this was happening.
Yeah.
It's a
Supposedly.
deflection.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Oh boy, I said, boy, and the thing is, I stayed on much longer than I should have. I was actually trying to do my schoolwork, and then so I had another tab open, so I was just really listening to what everybody was saying and not really realizing I was still on for a while. But then I clicked back over. I'm like, dang, I just don't want to drop off. I said, I do want to say something else, But yeah.
Which show was this?
His name was a Information Man show.
Yeah, I've
Oh,
never
okay.
seen. I don't know how it popped up on my thing. I've never seen it.
Never seen that before.
Have you ever
It was
seen it?
on YouTube?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
no, I didn't see it.
I've never seen him.
Where does he come from?
I don't know.
What these devils is just popping out, aren't they?
But you know, there was an attorney that came on. He kind of like basically said that Robert's thing gonna be overturned. That's basically what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, guess what I found today cleaning up? I found a CD. It's the essential R. Kelly. It's 2 CDs.
Mhm.
Mm.
And I'm like, wow, it's got like maybe 40 songs on there.
Wow. Where you get it from?
I've had it for a long time. And I thought actually that I lost it or someone took it, but I
Hmm.
found it when I was upstairs cleaning out my husband's man cave.
Okay.
I don't know how it got up there either.
Nice. Oh. What you know, they keep saying this they keep talking about they were talking about the Pied Piper. It was, about some
He didn't.
killer.
He
But I'm
didn't
like,
put his name that. That wasn't him that gave him himself that name. Somebody else
exactly.
called him that.
Yep.
What is this guy, the information man? Is he
Oh
black
no,
or white?
he
He's
is
like,
black child. Let me
Oh my
tell you.
gosh. Oh my gosh.
I was over there getting roasted, but I try my best to hold my own over there.
you
And
hold your own. I wanted to come in, but I was like, too many Oco folks was in there, so I was like, I don't want to deal with them.
Mm-mm.
yeah, it wasn't as I thought it would be more unbiased, but it was definitely biased,
Oh, he was biased.
very biased.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
biased. And then they got the nerve when they come in my chat when I be going off on them. They got the nerve to say something to me. Now I see the way you guys at.
Yeah, it was something else, and I won't go back over there again because I know
He's
he's
not
not
neutral.
honest. Yeah, and
He tried to act like he neutral, but then he took my he's good clinical um uh psychiatrist and he knows this and he knows that, whatever, dude.
no, it was
He's an
something.
R. Kelly hater.
Huh?
He's an R. Kelly hater like the rest of them.
Oh, he is.
He's a hater.
He is. I put that link to his thing right there in that if you ever just want to go peep and be nosy and not say nothing, that's the link right there to his channel over here in the
He's got 11K subscribers. I would
yeah.
not dare click on that. I don't want him to get not one of my votes.
I went over there and got on. I was over there for a few hours too, just like
Wow.
How long was Zabowski over there with them?
I would say about I don't think it was an hour, could have been hour tops because he had to wait too. So it may have been an hour for him, close to it. But he really did good, Debowski. He really explained it better and like he was there. And
You
but
know
they
what got me mad? Because they were not there. They make an assumption.
yeah.
So I mean, if they just read the transcripts, I mean, that is so telling to people. Like, just read if you can just read Azrael's. I mean,
Basically.
that in itself, it's so telling that something's not right with this. And Deronda, I mean, just read all of it. It's just crazy. I don't know. People gonna believe what they want to believe.
Yes.
Well, my thing is, if they giving fake IDs and they saying they're certain age, that means he was trying to protect himself. So why y'all still trying to say that's what he thrives on, young minors? I mean, come on now, dude.
Well, let me tell you guys something. I saw someone brought to my attention Charleston White. He's on YouTube. Well, he brought up a song from LL Cool J, right? And I'm not saying because he's another black man, I don't want him to be prosecuted. It's just to say that this was a normal thing. And I think it's something that Brenda got a big old butt. And I read the lyrics to that, and he was saying that he was riding in his Jeep going up to the school. She was 17, and he was, during the time when he was singing this song, I checked, he was 22, going to the high school, picking up a 17-year-old girl, Brenda with a big butt.
That's what they used to do.
So
Yeah.
it's no, and me, honestly, girl, we're so much more mature than men. And I remember distinctly when I was in high school, even though I was part of, you just, it was so cool for girls to have an older boyfriend, whether he be in college, had his own car or whatever, because we didn't really want to deal with the little boys that went to school with us, especially if you were a mature girl. So it's not that it's like, it's not abnormal. Nobody was raped or
Right.
I just don't, I think they're making an example out of him. That's just point blank period. And they violated so many things that so many of his rights that I think he is the example that that they needed. And also people need to be now, these entertainers and people of that nature need to be very leery because they have awakened the sleeping giant, which is the Mann Act.
Listen to this. Listen to this. From my research, there are 12 states that's 18 is the age of consent. 8 states are 17 the age of consent, and 31 state where 16 is the age of consent.
See?
So what the heck are they talking about?
Right. Age of consent. See, the thing is, and you know, my thing is, you know, like a 16-year-old, my problem, and what I was trying to get them to understand, it doesn't matter if my daughter was 17, 18, messing with a 30-year-old. I wouldn't, my thing is the sex. Why is my daughter having sex? Is she being protected? That's my whole thing. You know, you got girls that's 15. Yeah, she may not be messing around with a 30-year-old, but she messing around with a whole bunch of 15-year-old boys. And by the time she 18, she got like a body count of like 50. So, you know, that's the whole issue. But I mean, if my daughter was 18 and she wanted to date an older man, I mean, I'm
My,
not, I'm not necessarily I will be for it, but if I really, like I say like 35. She 18, he 35. I may be like, well, you know, he is much older than you. I wouldn't be a for it or against, to be honest with you, because I was 16. I dated a 28-year-old at one point. So I'm not saying that.
well, my mother was 16 and my dad was married and pregnant with me, and my dad was 21. So it's not like it's abnormal.
Right. I mean, I had a baby at 15, so he's 34 now. So
Yeah.
you know.
I was pregnant at 17 and my son's 31. So I mean, it's not that, and his father was older than me. So it's not abnormal. And
Right.
and especially with this Azrael, she was a few months before she was 18. So
Yeah.
actually she wasn't, I don't know. It's just crazy. It's more to it than meets the eye. It ain't got nothing to do with age, and it's not like
Yeah.
they're saying he was screwing 10 or 11-year-old girls.
They want, yeah.
And
Yeah.
these girls were free to leave. That's the problem with, I don't understand why people saying they were held captive, and Azrael going on this she's mad. It's her problem. She was pissed off, angry because he wouldn't wife her, because according to her, he put her on a pedestal, and he didn't do that anymore. So it makes me nauseated because I seen what's her dad name, and her dad had a live today.
He did live another one.
About let's discuss the whatever, what's his Team Truth. They had a live today. He got into an argument with somebody named Plain Jane.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be name dropping. I'm sorry, Miss Sylvia, but
Plain Jane.
yeah.
What happened?
Plain Jane was on our page. What
Well,
happened?
she was over there too.
What happened with her?
I don't know, but I clicked in when I saw, I was just going through my Instagram because I hadn't had my phone on today, and I saw I just clicked and saw that live, and it had her, and then supposedly her and Angela had gotten into an argument.
Wow. Whoa. Interesting.
No, you said plain Jane or plainest Jane? There's two of them.
I think somebody frozen.
I think Tanya, she muted us.
Oh, she
Oh,
muted.
she has dreads, like that's
That's
kind of
the
like,
plainest Jane.
yeah, she was over there on his live.
That's true. That's true. His daughter was not no pedophile. Somebody just said she was not no pedophile playing with. I mean, she was not no little girl playing with that feces. I'm just saying. Like I
I'm just,
just
and actually, to be honest, they were the predators. He
yeah,
wasn't.
yeah, yeah. It's hard to get people to understand that. I mean, they just keep calling us pedophile. I mean, that pedophile thing, you're a pedophile supporter. Okay, pedophilia is 13 and under. Okay, he wasn't charged of pedophilia or statutory rape, which is between the ages of 13, really what 13, 14 through the legal age of consent, really 18. But he wasn't charged in either one of those.
No, he was not. But that's the meme and the narrative that's being pushed, because no one would take the time to do their own research. They're just listening to what everyone else is saying.
Oh, Miss Sylvia, you said there's a lawyer said it will be overturned. Is that one of your videos from earlier?
No, this is the guy that came on right after you left. The guy
Oh,
came.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he
He's
went on that guy channel.
he was on. He basically saying that and plus he's an appellate person. He's an appellate old appellate attorney.
Uh-huh.
He said that basically the reason why it's going to be overturned because the what they charge him with, the RICO,
Uh-huh.
and he told the guy to read the definition of the RICO and all that, and
Hmm.
it says conspire. And so the thing is, who did he conspire with if he's the only one being charged?
So did have a little help after I left, huh?
Yeah, he came in. Even though he says on the whole R. Kelly thing is more of karma.
Yeah.
Something else happened before, and they catch you for that. It's like all the time you've been speeding, and then the day that you're not speeding, all of a sudden you get caught.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what he's saying. It's all.
When is the Chicago?
He said he was more of a narcissist than anything. You know.
And I'm sure he has his ways, you know what I mean, as a human being, but is it legal? That's the only thing I want to know.
He's human. I mean,
Exactly.
things that he done, I don't see that them being illegal. The way he, his sexual preference and how that's his business, but it's not illegal.
That's my
But see, the thing is, here's the thing: what they're gonna get it, because every he gonna get out. Every time he ever met with anybody, he asked them their age. He asked them their age. Period.
Yeah.
So.
And this lady was on this Team Truth. They were saying something about this lady who's a business partner with the dad is saying, you don't know what he's been through and how he's advocating, and someone tried to kill him and his family and his grandbaby over this, and they poured gasoline all over their house, and he's advocating for young girls, and you guys have no idea what he's been through. And I said in the comments, I don't see where, how can he have been through so much when his wife can take their child 8 hours to go meet a grown man, according to him? So that's his conscience eating him up, is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. His daughter lived down here in Atlanta, I heard. She lived in the Atlanta area. I'm like, oh Lord, I don't even want to bump into her.
She looked better when she was with R. Kelly, to be honest.
Yeah, and then she promoted a skincare line now. I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't want it. I mean, I'm just saying, you just showing them before and after pictures. Somebody, you got a skincare line, honey. That's not good promote. That's not good marketing.
And I'm an esthetician, and I was looking at her video on that skincare line that she was making, putting that fruit in there. That stuff rots after a while, and I don't see how she even had that to be preservative. as an
Yep.
esthetician, I thought to myself, I would never, even if it was someone else, I would never recommend that to my clients or
Yep.
use it in my spa because it just looks like a bunch of oil. It just looks pretty. There's nothing beneficial in any of that from what I've seen.
You're the second person because I have a girlfriend that's an esthetician and she saw it and said the same thing. She was like, "Oh my God, that bacteria in there." I am a licensed cosmetologist. I do have a real skincare line that I went to a lab and got and everything. So yeah, I was like, so I told her about that link and I showed her the link with her pouring stuff in these bottles and she was just like, "Oh my God, you serious?"
I
Yeah,
see,
I know it.
I see spitting fire in here.
Hey, y'all. Oh, Tanya, you was cutting up tonight.
I know. Girl, I was on one because I had just finished watching that Angelo mess and I was pissed
What
off.
what he do? What he talking about now? Hey, Sylvia.
I'm sorry. He had a
It's
live going
getting
on.
Hey, baby. I can't see the name. You know I'm in the bed.
Orissa. This Orissa Michelle, honey.
How you doing, Arissa? I'm sorry. I see her name. I can't see the name. Yo, Lord, let me pull the screen up. I'm in denial that I need glasses.
Yeah, you gotta get you some. Spit Fire. I'll be in Detroit so much visiting my son and his wife and kids.
Do
I,
you?
yeah, I was just up there in July. I'm coming back up there again, boy. I don't know because y'all got that snow coming. I'm sure. So
Yeah, you better wait. You better wait till the spring.
yeah,
You better tell him to come see you. It's on its way.
yes,
It's on its way. I'm sitting up here now. We have a snowblower already. I'm trying to buy one now because I
Mhm.
know when it gets when the winter season comes, they go skyrocket on the prices.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
You know what I mean? So I'm trying to buy one now for like $300-400 because it ain't gonna be one when the snow hit the ground. You ain't gonna be able to find one under $600-700.
Oh, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. That's
Wow.
crazy. Man, look. What did Angelo say?
He was arguing with Plain as Jane or whatever her name is, and he had gotten off, but the lady that was his business partner was advocating for him, saying how how he's such an advocate for victimized girls, and you guys have no idea what he does, and he was fighting for his baby, and people, you guys don't know that people have tried to kill him and his family and grandchildren. And I was like, oh my God. Oh
Tell
my
him.
God. This
Tell
So
him.
man.
wait, he was arguing with her or somebody? She was arguing with someone else.
No, he was arguing with Plain as, am I saying that right, Miss Sylvia? Plain as Jane or whoever her name
Plain as
was.
Well,
Jane.
wait a minute. Isn't she for
Yeah, she's for him.
No.
She's dogging
For
about
who? For
him?
yeah,
who?
Angelo.
plain as Jane is for Angelo.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know, but they were arguing about something
Mm.
that she said, or I don't know, but
How is
evidently
it that this is what I don't get? I don't get how these people supposed to be for him, and he comes back and cuss them out every chance he gets.
he's the one seems abusive.
Mm.
That's what I'm saying. He cusses them out every. I'm thinking to myself, do he know that these is his people?
Mm.
These are the people that's advocating with you and for you. Do you know you're not supposed to cuss them out?
Well, the apple don't fall from the tree, because if his child mental, she didn't steal it.
You know what? I'm
Tell
you
him
getting
to
a
tell his
whooping.
daughter. Tell her to tell his daughter give R. Kelly titties breast back.
I know, right?
You know what I'm saying? You get to keep the titties and everything. So
Right up there shaking them on Instagram. Shaking them on TikTok.
got somebody else stood on them plastic things.
They look all big and round. You know they face. You just shaking them, just loving them. I said, I put it on my Twitter. Give R. Kelly his titties back.
They're gonna be deflating soon because you have to pick that up.
Oh,
They
Jesus.
show is. They show
And
is. I don't care if
you
they
gotta go
is
back and get them
plastic.
fixed.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's
I said that ain't nothing but his conscience eating him up. While he always on talking about he advocate. I wouldn't want him to advocate for my baby. If you selling yours at 17, I wouldn't want you advocating for mine.
That's right. I'm good. I'm good.
No,
Right.
we're about to read in a minute.
Okay. I'm gonna see y'all later. I'll be in the chat listening.
Okay, well, y'all, let y'all go.
No,
Okay,
no,
bye.
somebody was just asking me, did we read it? They just jumped up.
They gone.
Still here for a minute.
They just jumped off so fast.
I
where's
was
the other?
waiting on y'all to read. I know y'all get ready to read it.
Yeah, we're gonna read it. I was waiting for Misfa and the rest. I don't know where Misfa is.
That man went to bed. What time is it? 10?
No, Misfa said she was coming. I got all the messages from everybody saying they were coming. They were coming.
Oh, so what do
Hey,
you
chat. I didn't even get a chance to say hello to everybody. Hello, everybody in the chat.
And over there on Angela's live, they was calling all the R. Kelly women supporters, all these aunties around here advocating for R. Kelly with their old ASSs. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm an
But
auntie
how old
now.
are you? How old are he talking about somebody? Oh, how old are you? Like, look, if you 35 and up, you are considered middle age. That's the law. Between 30, I mean, that's just how it is. Between 35 and 65, you are considered middle age. And of course, 65 and up or 66 and up, then we just old. So they can call us what we want, but guess what? When Chris Brown was accused of hitting Rihanna and Rihanna hit him first, guess who I was like, yeah, she hit him first though. So, and I
Oh my God, my mom said the same thing. We were talking about that just this past weekend. She's like, I don't even like her. I said, why? She said, because she hit him first and he should have bopped us.
she took his keys of Lamborghini and
And then threw it out the window, didn't she?
sure did. Come on now, that might get you a pop or two from a female. You throw some Lamborghini keys out.
And
You
he
know,
gotta go look for it.
yeah, you know. So
Who they calling the damn auntie?
That's what they call us. All the R. Kelly middle-aged women are all these aunties taking up for him. I'm like, if y'all don't
And
go
all
sit
you
down.
goddamn aunties over there selling your young thoughts. How about that?
right.
I know, right?
How about that?
To the highest bidder.
That's right. Them thoughts you taking care of with them fake titties gonna be aunties one day too if they keep living. Shit. The way she was looking on Gayle King, she looked older than all of us.
Oh,
Sure
sure.
did. And
Right.
I'll be 50 next year, and she looked way older than me.
You damn right. And with
Me
that
too.
Diana Ross hairdo. She's supposed to be 20. She the one who got it. How old is Diana Ross? Damn near 80.
Yeah, she
Girl,
looked like her too. She
and-
looked
and-
like her age.
And she trying to look innocent, hiding them titties that R. Kelly then bought. You see that little outfit, that outfit she had on. She just really trying to hide. You should have showed Gayle King how you be posing on Instagram, girl.
She
Right.
seen how she be posing on Instagram. She seen that shit.
And if Gayle don't go sit down somewhere too.
Well, her ass almost 82. She needs to sit her ass down somewhere. Her Oprah
I just cussing.
Her Oprah, I forgot. It's late at night. It ain't no way that you supposed to be getting late at night.
In fire. In fire.
Her Oprah need to come out the closet.
Seriously. That's why they playing
Right.
in the room.
They need to go on and come out the closet. Because Stedman in the guest house still.
Stop
Ain't
playing.
nobody seen Stedman in about 15 years.
They maybe didn't got rid of him.
No, you remember when she was in the house and during COVID, she said Stedman's in the guest house. That's where he always been. And Gail sleep in the house with her.
Mm-mm.
It's not for real. I'm serious. When Gail come there, she sleep with her.
That's too much.
Y'all think they sleep in the same bed?
I think so.
Y'all so funny.
I'm just saying. I remember Oprah was talking about some. She was at the top of the stairs, and she said she had on a negligee. Girl, I said,
Ooh.
tell somebody that. You know, Oprah's not a beauty queen. Oprah ain't too much. Oprah is maybe a couple steps from Toronto her damn self.
Oh, you
But
talking about the Me Too girl?
Yeah, but at least when Oprah put on makeup, and they do wonders with Oprah sometimes. But Tarana, well, she got all that money. Maybe she working on something.
No,
No.
I'm an esthetician.
Makeup can help her.
What I see is she needs a whole lot of micro needling.
Okay.
Yeah, to get rid of that. Yeah, those craters. Yeah.
Okay. Esthetician, you in Atlanta?
No, I'm in Texas.
Oh,
I
shit,
need
that's a
an
long way.
esthetician. My esthetician left and moved to Atlanta.
Where's she at?
She's I don't know where she at down there, but I know her name here used to be Stein Studio.
Okay.
I don't know if she kept that name and moved to Atlanta, but she was so good. She would get my arms
Mm-hmm.
all over my body so good. It would be so smooth and it'd be all the same color. She was really good because
That's
it's so
cool.
much better than shaving and everything.
Oh, nice. I do know a young lady that's an esthetician. I hadn't but she's not working it right now. But yeah, she's pretty good. But yeah, if
I
she
can't
I
find
would
a
be
good one
person.
here to save my life. I
Okay,
can't
really?
find one.
Oh,
When you come to Texas,
my
look me up.
daughter-in-law. My daughter-in-law's sister is an esthetician. She got her own spot down there.
What's the name of it?
Shoot, hey, Spit, I'm about to leave it in your chat box, but yeah, she does good. Her business is good too. She's an esthetician. Because my daughter-in-law is a cosmetologist.
Okay, because I'm a licensed nail tech. I just ain't practiced in years. I don't even know if my license is still any good.
You probably could renew them or something. I got my cosmetology license,
I
but I'm
can't
retired.
no way because my asthma bad. I can't do with them chemicals no more.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't really do any waxing up. Mine is basically skincare. I just focus on the skin.
Okay.
You don't do no waxing?
No, I have someone in my spa that does.
Okay.
I don't personally do it. But I want to ask you ladies, I know we get ready to read in a minute, but I want to make sure that all of you guys are wearing sunscreen.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Question. I do have this mole that's growing on my face. It's sticking out. I don't know right now because I'm getting old or do I need dermatologist?
And when you get older, it's gonna be a hair grow out of it.
Oh Lord Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you need to see you gotta see a dermatologist.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. Spin you crazy.
You knew I had to mess with you. You left that one wide open. You knew I had to take that.
Hey, Spin, I need a good laugh after that channel I got off of from getting roasted for about 3 hours.
You was over there, they was roasting you.
Yeah, information, man. Yeah, I was over there. They was getting me because yeah, boy, they was on me.
They be on me too.
Oh, you be over there?
No, but I'm just saying that the internet be on me anyway. Somebody on Twitter called us out, Sylvia, said we just doing this for money.
Oh, I
Who said that?
The Twitter nigga. I mean the Twitter.
Yeah,
I
Twitter
yeah.
nigga. I named him the Twitter nigga. I think he be.
Who is that? Who's that?
I think he. Okay, when I was home. Wait a minute.
Truth something. I was looking for my name. I said I don't see my name on the list.
No.
I don't do no video.
I think he be over there with TBD. I think that's the one that.
Oh, I know which guy. The Mr. Schemer or something like that.
Yeah, Mr. Scheme something.
Oh,
okay. He's irrelevant to me.
You know, I don't know. She needs to put him in check.
He's
irrelevant. For real, he out of order.
He's irrelevant. He's crying. He's a crybaby. You know, some people need some milk.
Well, I don't need nobody around like that on my channel. Shit.
Why is he whining so much?
I don't know what he even talking about. I don't even know him. I never even met him.
And I met him at the walk.
Oh, I never even heard of him. I had to do some research and look back at some old videos. And I looked back at some old videos because after I heard Angie was cussing them out, and then I said something told me when she was going off on him, something told me to go see what she talking about. So she was over there talking about the other guy channel. I went over there to see what he's talking about. I seen the list he posted up, and shit, my name was right there. I said, I don't even. But he said everybody in the sector, so he was trying to get some attention.
No, he missed. He didn't have TBD on there. He didn't have
Well, that's who he mad for. So
He
he
didn't
ain't
have.
gonna
He
have her on
didn't
there,
have Dubosky on there.
huh?
He didn't have Dubosky, and he didn't have TBD on there.
Oh,
Everybody else he had on there. All of us.
Mm.
well, I think he don't he mind for them.
I don't know. I don't go to those channels, so I don't know.
Oh, I ain't been over at TV either.
When she started acting cray with me, I left her alone.
Oh, I ain't been over there in a minute though, because I haven't been able to catch her.
Yeah, she's in the hospital, so her kids. So just pray for her.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, something happened. I guess whatever. I think it was the same day that the verdict came out. That's when. That's all I know is that she's in the hospital when her kids are asking for prayers and just let people know that what she's going through. Yeah.
Oh, I feel bad for talking about her right hand.
Yeah,
That ain't got nothing to do with her. We can
know,
still
right?
be sympathetic to her. We can still care about her and go after him. Let me stop.
Mm.
No.
Mm.
When y'all going who reading? I'm sorry because I want to hear it too.
Okay, we're gonna read it because everybody needed to they wanted to find out about what was happening there. So it's myself, Tanya. I'm not reading, but got Getty's, Tanya, and we have Mitzvah, Messy Science. All right. There was somebody else supposed to be coming in. Huh?
I don't have it.
I thought I sent it to you. Did you check your email?
I can be the court if you want me to.
Yeah, the court. I need the court, and I need Rodriguez, right? Gloria. I need somebody to do Gloria. You know, Mitzvah, you could do Gloria.
Okay. I didn't. You've been live all this time. I've been on my phone the whole time and didn't get a notification at all.
And no,
Oh my
a lot
God.
of people don't get the notification. You got it?
I was on my phone all that time. I said, I ain't get no notification. I said, is she going live or not?
Yeah, I've been live all this time waiting on y'all.
Sorry, I didn't get it.
Okay.
You two playing.
They've been dogging me out.
Well, they don't want us to read it, but we gonna read it anyway.
Yeah. Okay, you should have it now. Who else don't have it? You have it, right, Mitzvah?
Yeah, I have it.
Everybody else has it. Tanya, you got it?
I have it. Speaking of Steve Greenberg, I saw on his Twitter today when he posted. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, then he deleted it. Something
What did he say?
Tanya.
Huh?
Something I keep hearing like a repeat with yours.
Oh, with me? Sorry.
I don't have it. Miss Sylvia.
I just sent it.
Okay, I'll look again.
Say my
Do you still hear it?
Hello? No, I don't hear it.
Okay. No, he didn't delete it. You talking about where he said he's taking a lot of unjust heat?
Oh no. This is
okay.
Here's the StreamYard. Oh, here it goes.
okay. It's Robert's the 20th vacated video conference hearing is set for 10:20 at 10:30.
This on the document? What is this? Who you talking about?
No, I'm talking about Robert's. He has a hearing on the 20th for Chicago, and it's going to be by video conference.
Wow.
Is this the federal or the state?
Federal.
Oh.
Okay, whenever you guys are ready.
Let me put it up so they can see it. This is only, it's not going to be, Mimi, we're reading the Curcio hearing. You know, the one where had to do with Nicole when the judge was telling her if if he loses, she won't be able to we're gonna read it.
Okay.
We're gonna read it. Hold on a second. I'm gonna put it up so they can see it. I'm getting ready to mute. So anybody else that was coming in? What are people that was supposed to be coming in? Yeah, it's on the 20th in Chicago. All right, I'm gonna put it up, and you guys.
So the court. I'll be the court. Who's going to be the I guess I can be the court deputy or in the court.
Yeah, just change your voice so they can have a feeling of who it is.
Or do we have someone else? Because the court is pretty long, so I don't know if the court deputy only comes in that once.
I'm here. I can help.
Okay, so
you're gonna have some parts to it.
Okay.
Oh, Getty's in there?
No, but what's the name is in there? Shahata. I mean, they're in there.
You got Becker and you got Greenberg.
Where the dudes at, man? All right, let's go ahead.
Okay.
Let's get started.
Okay.
All right, guys, we're doing the Curcio hearing from July 15th, 2001. All right, we can begin.
Okay, so this is a criminal cause for Curcio hearing docket 19 CR 286 U.S. versus Robert Kelly. Counsel, state your appearance. The government first.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Maria Cruz Mendez and Nadia Shahata.
Let's see. It's going to be Becker. I guess I can
do that.
Okay.
Your Honor, Nicole Becker on behalf of Mr. Kelly. Seated on my left and seated on my right is attorney Darrell Canick, and my far left is attorney Tom Baronella.
Good afternoon. Someone else read that one.
Okay, yeah. Why nobody's reading? Gaddis, where are you?
Who am I? I'm Melendez, right?
Yeah. You Melendez? Yeah.
Okay. I'm Melendez. Okay, I just want to make sure.
And Gaddis, you can be this.
Can you hear me?
Haramati? Yeah.
Okay. Alana Harmani, Curcio counsel.
Good afternoon.
Stephen Greenberg and Mike Leonard on the phone.
Thanks. And I think we have Miss Rodriguez also. Is that correct?
Yes. Who's Rodriguez? Guys, we need readers. We don't have enough readers. Let's see.
Okay. Oh, so Melendez and Rodriguez. Okay, I was confused. Okay, so I'm Melendez. Okay. Yes, sir. Do you want who?
Yeah, you can be Rodriguez.
Have a lot of parts too.
No, I don't think so.
Rodriguez.
Okay, I'll do Rodriguez. Is that correct? Oh, yes, Your Honor. I'm present in your virtual courtroom.
Okay, I just want to be sure everybody can hear. Just a quick outline of what we're going to do today. Parenthetically, I did get Mr. Canick's letter, which I will address at the end of today's proceeding. This is a continuation of the Curcio hearing that we began, I believe, on the 17th. This hearing is taking place in pursuant to the court's obligation to investigate whenever, quote, the disparity of attorney conflict of interest arise. In connection with today's proceeding, I have reviewed all the submissions that I have gotten, not just since before June 17th, but also those that were submitted after the hearing. I'm just going to remind everyone that I'm not here to mediate disputes among the lawyers. I'm just interested in anything that does not relate to discrete issues of the extent to which it is. And I think it's only Miss Becker at this point who may have a conflict. I don't care when Mr. Greenberg met Miss Rodriguez. I have no interest in anything to do with that. I'm only interested in the extent to which there is a conflict, because Mr. Kelly has a right to have conflict-free representation. And if he's going to waive it, he's entitled to know what the conflict is and have it explained to him. And as I said before, I appointed Mr. Arminetti as Caruso counsel, and I thank her for her efforts in this regards to advise Mr. Kelly about potential conflicts, and we will talk about that in a bit. Included in the submission that I received was an email and some other material from Ms. Rodriguez about this possible conflict of interest relating to two witnesses. I'm going to remind counsel that one witness that we I'm sorry. I'm going to remind counsel there is one witness that we're referring to as Jane Doe number 5. Do not use her name. She is to be referred to as Jane Doe number 5, but I do have some questions for Ms. Rodriguez regarding some of the materials that she submitted. Some of those questions will, in all likelihood, implicate the lawyer-client privilege. Her representation of these two witnesses, as for these portions that do not involve her attorney-client relations with Jane Doe number 5 and the other witness, I will have a conversation with her ex parte. Some of the inquiries that I have of Ms. Rodriguez, I think we can do in open court, but I'm going to ask Ms. Rodriguez to let me know the extent to which anything that I am asking or that she wants to discuss implicates that privilege. And I also want to make sure, Ms. Rodriguez, you haven't been here before, but we are referring to one of your clients as Miss Jane Doe number 5. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then I think we're referring to the other witness by her name, Miss Savage. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Is there anybody else that is to be referred to as Jane Doe?
For the purposes of this discussion, I believe that's it, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Rodriguez, I'm going to ask you some of the questions that we can talk about in open court. And if these relate to subjects that will involve discussions about privileged communication, let me know, okay?
Okay.
When were you retained by Jane Doe number 5 and Jocelyn Savage?
I was retained by them in July of 2019.
And for how long?
And the exact date, I'm sorry, I was looking for the exact date, but it was early July 2019.
Okay, and for how long did you represent them?
I represented them jointly until about September 1st of 2019.
When did you first come in contact with Ms. Becker?
I first met Ms. Becker in person at the bond hearing that was at the Dirksen Center in July of 2019.
At what center?
The federal building in Chicago. It's called the Dirksen building.
Dirksen? Okay. And was that in connection with your representation of these two women?
It was because, yes, I would say yes.
Okay. And at the point that you met Ms. Becker, you were representing Jane Doe number 5 and Ms. Savage the first time you met her.
Where are we at?
Number
Sorry.
8.
Okay, we're on 8. Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes.
Did you ever give Ms. Becker any instruction regarding her interaction with those witnesses? Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes. And actually, wait, where are we at?
Number 11.
Yeah. Number 11, Ms. Rodriguez. It just says yes.
Oh, okay. So we're on page 8.
7.
Oh, shoot. I'm sorry.
Page 7, line 8. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yes.
Did you ever give Ms. Becker any instruction regarding her interaction with those witnesses?
Yes.
Okay. And what were your instructions?
I had asked her to please not contact my clients without my knowledge.
In what form?
And I also...
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I know there is a delay, so I'm trying to speak slowly so you all can hear me.
That's fine. That's fine.
The second one was to please not give them any advice about things that might pertain to the case or their interests.
And then what form did those instructions take?
The form was through text message and through email and through in person.
And do you know approximately when you gave those various instructions?
Yes. And actually on the phone, I spoke to her on the phone. So on July 15th, I sent her a text message with my email address and called her, and we had a very lovely conversation. And I communicated to her.
What did you say?
I said specifically, wait, where did I go?
Yeah. I said
We're on page 9.
I said specifically I don't want the lines, but
Okay. What line is it?
that is 10 on page 8.
Okay. My computer keeps skipping. Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, because I was just on it. Okay. I said specifically, I don't want the lines to be blurred regarding our roles, and I think they are already blurred. If you could please not contact them at all without my knowledge.
Did you text it? Sorry, let me finish the question. I know we have a little bit of delay. Did you text that? Did you email that? Did you say it in person? Did you do all those three things? 3 of those things? I'm sorry. There's an echo.
That's Miss Getty's. Mute your phone.
I am.
Yes.
It's not you. Okay, it might be messy, mad scientist.
I don't have an echo. Do I have an echo?
I saw you moving. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yes, the text message was sent on July 15th, 2019 at 5:15 p.m. Then the phone call with Miss Becker was later that day, and we spoke for about 45 minutes. Then I saw her on July 16th in person. I met her about 1 o'clock right before the hearing, and we discussed it. And it was very pleasant. She seemed to have understood what I was asking her to do.
You said she seemed to understand when you met her in person. Did you receive any response to the text message that you sent to her on July 15th?
No,
And is there a way to tell when you sent a text message whether or not the person has received it?
not through the technology that I had at the time.
Okay. For example, would your phone tell you if a message did not go through?
No, it wouldn't. But I saved the text message on my device, which I still have, and I have it in my hand.
Okay. Okay, I think it may be included in some of the material that I receive. And so you still have it on the phone, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so sometimes when people send text messages and it doesn't go through, you'll get an alert that tells you that it didn't go through. Does your phone do that?
Yes, it does.
Okay, and did it do it at the time when you sent those text messages is it 2018?
Correct, 2019. It did not. I'm sure she received it because we spoke after the text message.
Okay, what specifically did she say that led you to the conclusion that she got the text message?
On the phone, I remember her saying, Gloria, I'm glad they retained you. I'm glad they retained an attorney. I'm Mr. Kelly's attorney. Whatever you need, the lines are drawn and I'm not going to step on your toes. And she made it known that there was a clear understanding of my concern.
So this was July 16th, right?
July 15th, the phone call. And then the text was July 15th.
And you met her in person on the 16th when you had this conversation, correct?
Correct. I actually met her and Mr. Greenberg in person for the first time July 16th.
Okay. So following those contacts on the 15th and the 16th, did you also say that you sent an email?
In my notes, I saw that I put an email there, but I don't think that my office maintained a record of that. So I don't independently remember sending an email. I had a little note here that said I sent an email, but I don't actually have the email. Hey, you don't have the email. Okay.
What? Okay. Now, following these conversations, did you learn at some point that Ms. Becker was contacting either or both of these women without letting you know?
Yes.
And how did that happen?
Well, Jane Doe number 5, of course, was kind of the point of contact for Miss Savage. And it was obvious to me that despite the lovely conversation that I had with Miss Becker, that Miss Becker was still relaying to them information about Mr. Kelly's case and giving them what I believe was legal information, which was contrary to what I was advising them on.
All right. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I can give you, sure. Specifically, there was an issue about what to do with the media. And I remember asking them, where are you coming with this? And their reply was, Ms. Becker said, and then I have no doubt in my mind that Ms. Becker was continuing to speak to my clients, number one, without my knowledge, and number two, relaying information that was of material nature in response to their legal interest.
Okay. Now, I want to find out what the specifics of that information was. But it sounds to me like it would require you to divulge conversations that you have with your clients that are privileged. Is there anything you can tell us?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Is there anything you can tell us about that is not privileged? If you can't, that's fine, but we can.
Yes. The breakdown of my relationship with both of my clients, I believe was led, or I believe was encouraged by them still receiving information that was contrary to my advice for them. And when I formally severed the relationship, I received instruction in a letter from my clients, signed by both of them, seeking to turn my file over to their new attorney. The new attorney was not named in the letter, but when I spoke to Jane Doe number 5 and Miss Becker, Jane Doe number 5, and asked her where she wanted me to send it to, she gave me Miss Becker's contact information. And then I had a discussion with her about that and how I felt that it was concerning to me that she would be representing them.
Okay, wait. Okay, I'll go back and ask this because I'm like confused. Like, so Ms. Becker was R. Kelly's attorney. Okay, okay. So is there anything else that you can tell us? You put quite a bit of information into your submission. Is there anything else that you can tell us that's not privileged, that's relevant to this inquiry?
I believe that would be it as far as what is not privileged.
Wow. I think that at this point we will recess so the court can do an inquiry ex parte on that topic that have to do with the attorney-client privilege. I don't think that will take all that long, but I'm going to leave the courtroom to do that, and we'll be in recess until we are finished with that. Ms. Rodriguez, can you hear us?
Yes, Your Honor, I can.
I spoke with Ms. Rodriguez about the communication that implicated the attorney-client privilege. There was one item or one incident that the witness described that I think is appropriate. It does not implicate it does not implicate the attorney-client privilege. So I'm just going to ask the witness to describe the conversation. Prior to the court speaking with the witness ex parte, the witness described a conversation that she had with Ms. Becker on the 16th of July. I think that was the date. Following that conversation, the witness, during the ex parte part of the inquiry, you talked about a conversation that you had with Mr. Greenberg regarding your concerns about Ms. Becker. Can you describe that conversation?
Yes, Your Honor. About a couple of weeks after the federal bond hearing in Mr. Kelly's case in Chicago, I had spoken with Mr. Greenberg about a different issue on the phone. And it was a very brief conversation that I'm sure Mr. Greenberg may not remember. But in the conversation towards the end of this conversation, I had to mention to him if he could please talk to Ms. Becker to, quote, rein her in. And the response that Mr. Greenberg said, it was something to the effect of, good luck with that.
Oh, wow. Okay, so when you say rein her in, no, I just want to be sure. What do you mean rein her in regarding to what?
Rein her in respect to not communicating with my clients without my knowledge.
Okay.
It was apparent to me that Ms. Becker continued speaking with them regularly and that my communication with Ms. Becker to please stop went unheeded. So I took my concern to Mr. Greenberg, since I knew at the time Ms. Becker was on Mr. Kelly's legal team, to ask him to please rein her in from continuing that behavior. and that he has said something to the effect of, good luck with that.
Okay, I don't have any further questions for the witness. Let me start with the government. Are there any additional questions that you want to put to the witness, or you want me to put in the witness to complete the record on this issue?
No, Your Honor.
And how about from Mr. Kelly's side? Any questions to put into the witness regarding the issue that I'm interested in? I will put the question, but you tell me what the question is. Becker?
Get it, get it. What, you sleeping? Is he
I
sleeping?
actually, yeah, this is Becker. Okay.
Is she asleep?
No, I don't see her on there.
Henny Hen.
Oh,
Oh, she's stuck in the background. Hold on. It's your turn. Come on, Henny Hen.
Okay, who am I now?
Becker. Number 2,
Becker.
page
I
15.
just have things that I would like to address to the court. They're not specific questions to Miss Rodriguez. Thank you.
All right, I think it's probably okay. Is it okay to let the witness go?
The government has no objection to that. Where'd she go?
All right, I want to be sure that the
She's coming
counsel.
back. She's coming back. Here she comes.
All right, it kicked me out for some reason. Okay. Okay, it says, all right, I want to be sure that Curcio counsel, is there anything that you need to hear from her?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your
Okay. And nothing from Mr. Kelly's side that we need to put to the witness?
Becker.
So, okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Rodriguez. You are free to go.
great. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, I will hear from the parties. Is there anything additional, any additional things they want me to look at? Anything else that they want me to say? I don't know, Ms. Becker, if in the time since that conference in June, you have had a chance to refresh your recollection about the matters at issue in this hearing, or if there's anything that you want to say, bearing in mind that the focus of the hearing is Mr. Kelly, right, to conflict-free counsel. As difficult as these inquiries are, it's not about, unless it's a factual question about, it's not about you. In other words, it's about whether there's a conflict, and I will repeat, it's also not about whatever disputes and disagreements that you have with Mr. Leonard and Mr. Greenberg. Keep that in mind if there's something specific that you have to add.
Thank you, Judge. Judge, I can't mean to belabor the point, but I think it's appropriate for me to make a record as well and just forward my thoughts. Judge, I did have a chance to look at the message that were sent on the plate on the piece of paper that was given to us from Miss Rodriguez. Obviously, it does not show that she attempted and or did. Apparently, she couldn't even tell us.
Did you get it?
Yes, yes.
But did you get it when it was sent? That's the question.
Judge, unfortunately, I have zero recollection of seeing it. It doesn't mean I didn't get it. It just means I have zero recollection of seeing this.
Okay.
Thank you. Additionally, Judge, what I provided for the court, since I had an opportunity to review the materials that I had specifically pertaining to Miss Rodriguez and or my communications with the girls.
The women,
I'm sorry.
they are women. They are adult women.
The women, you are correct. Judge, I apologize. Judge, my research based on the text messages that I was able to look through, Judge, and I supplied this to the court, simply show that on July 13th, Jane Doe number 5 sent me a text message indicating that she hired a spokesperson, and that spokesperson was Miss Gloria Rodriguez. So I was made aware of that on the 13th. And then on that particular day, I also had some conversations, text messages, conversations with Mr. Greenberg. And when I had conversations with Mr. Greenberg, he was asking me if I would ask the girls if they were coming to court that day. Hello? I'm just going to stop you. Sorry.
He's muted. Tanya, you muted.
I'm just going to stop you. My phone is muted. Sorry.
Sorry.
So it's 2021. We're talking about women in their 20s. They're not girls. Please do not refer to them that way.
I apologize, Judge. It's been 2 years.
They were women then too. So go ahead.
The discussion was about the women, and in the text message, he had wanted me to contact them, and specifically, I indicated to Mr. Greenberg, and this is in the text message, they said they are having Gloria Schmidt be their spokesperson. Apparently, she told them she had lunch with you the other day. So this would have been prior to July 13th. I am sure they would like to come to the hearing. Do you think they should, and what time? And his response, Judge, was people talk too much. We had a meeting in a secret location so nobody would know.
So tell me, what does this have to do with your communication with these two represented witnesses?
It does, Judge, because if I could finish that sentence.
I read it. You submitted it, so there's no reason to keep reading it.
Just for the record.
It's on the record.
So, Judge, Mr. Greenberg told me that she couldn't represent the women, okay? So, although I knew on my own from conversations with Miss Rodriguez that she was going to represent them.
But that's it. I'm sorry to sound impatient, but the question is whether you knew and you said the last time that you did know that she represented them. So that's why I'm not really interested. Mr. Greenberg wants to get off the case. If he were on the case, I would ask him these questions. But my intention is to excuse them. So that's why I'm not trying to explain it to you. That's why I'm trying to explain it to you. Maybe there's a forum for you all to hash out your complaints about one another. It's just not here. I don't want to know about it, A, because I think it's a waste of time, and B, it's not a focus of what I'm focusing on, which is your client's right to conflict-free representation. I think if we keep our eye on the ball of what Mr. Kelly's interests are and not what our personal interests are, we can accomplish that objective. Maybe there's a place for you all to argue about what Mr. Greenberg said or what someone else said, but I think it's clear that you are aware of at the time that Ms. Rodriguez was representing these two women, correct so far?
That is correct, Judge.
And I think the last time we also established that you were aware also of the rules that a lawyer should not speak to represented people.
That's correct, Judge. And that's why I'm trying to make this record, Judge.
But whatever Mr. Greenberg said isn't a part of the record. I'm encouraging you to focus on these things. That's my question. My question is, in your review of your material, is there anything you want to add about your interaction with these two represented women in connection with this case?
Yes, Judge. With all due respect, I do understand exactly what you are saying. So thank you, Judge. The reason I brought this up is simply because even though I strike that, I knew that they were represented. Therefore, the same exact day when they text me, I supplied the court with texts that I responded and I said, ask Gloria. That was on July 13th. There was a number of texts between July 13th and July 16th that I did not respond to. And on the 16th, I text them back, ask Gloria. And ultimately, Judge, the very next day, the 16th, that's when the women sent me an article which I produced for the court as well. And they indicated that in their text message that as a result of that article, that was on social media outlet, that they did not want her as their lawyer anymore.
And they told you this.
In a text message, Judge, yes, yes. And that was the following day after Mr. Kelly's hearing.
So, is it your position that you thought at the time she was no longer representing him?
I actually still thought she was doing the media stuff with them. Yes, I actually did, but they accidentally, and I think I brought this up last time, and it's in the text message as well. They accidentally ended up sending me the termination letter. And so I had a chance to read it because at first I didn't know what it was, but it started saying, "Hey Gloria."
I know what it says. It's in the record, and we talked about that the last time. But it is the case that, and you know, you continue to have significant contact with them and conversation during that period. Is that true?
Judge, I had no significant conversation. Did I answer if they would say what day is court or something to that effect? Yes. Did I have significant conversation as has been I indicated somewhat by Miss Rodriguez about legal stuff? Never.
Did you have conversation with them about anything having to do with this case?
Yes, I would give them what date if they would ask the ask judge. I believe at one point they asked if he needed clothing, a suit for court. I responded to that. There were several things of that nature that I did respond to, judge. Respond
Did you?
to, yes, judge.
Okay, Ms. Becker, did you talk to them about their relationship with Miss Rodriguez? Did they share with you their thoughts about that?
Judge, the only thing I recall them talking about in the message when the article came out that they want to terminate her. That's what I recall.
Okay, so is there anything that you want to put on record? I'm I'm not trying to keep you from putting anything on record except to the extent that it has to do with a personal dispute between you and the lawyers. I'm not interested in that unless it somehow connects to this issue, but I don't think it does.
Judge, I was simply trying to put a full picture as to what my understanding was. And other than that, Judge, I do not have anything additional. Thank you.
Okay. What about though? What about does any co-counsel have anything they want to say on this topic? Mr.
No,
Finale,
No,
no,
Mr. Canick,
no, Your
no,
Honor.
Your Honor.
from the government?
Government. Menendez.
Very
Who's Melendez? Am I Melendez?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, hold on. What page am I on? 22? Sorry.
24.
22,
24.
24.
24.
Okay, let me see. 22, line 24.
22 on line 24.
Okay. Wait. Page 22, line 2. Okay. Very briefly, and I believe we spoke about this last time when the government spoke with Jane Doe number 5. That's where I'm right now. I'm on the right place, right?
Yes.
Okay. She did detail a meeting in approximately August of 2019 in which she had a lengthy conversation with Ms. Blank Becker. During that conversation, I believe there were questions concerning her relationship or their relationship with the defendant and information that Ms. Blank Becker thought might be useful for the purposes of Mr. Kelly's defense, some of which information, as we stated in our filing, could be perceived, and I think frankly would be perceived adverse to the defendant's position at trial.
Wow. I want to be sure I understand what you're saying. The information that the witness gave to Ms. Becker, you are saying would be
Adverse to the defendant's position at trial.
Mm.
And I only raise it for the purposes of making it clear that to the extent that your questions did, what does that mean? Okay. Ms. Blank Becker have a lengthy conversation with the witnesses. My understanding, based on conversations with Jane Doe number 5, is that there was at least that meeting in approximately August of 2019.
Do you recall the meeting, having a conversation with them in an interview? Is it just Jane Doe number 5?
I believe Ms. Savage was present.
Judge, I cannot honestly recall. Did I have conversations with them? Yes. Did I know about their history with my client for a long time? They were not represented by anybody. So I certainly did have conversations with them about their relationship, kind of. I would say, but I certainly cannot specifically remember a conversation in August of 2019 where we talked about any specifics or that I gave them any advice adverse to Mr. Kelly.
I do not think that's what Ms. Cruz Melendez is saying. I think that Ms. Cruz is saying is that during the course of that conversation, Jane Doe number 5 gave you information that was not helpful to her client. Wow. The setup is real.
If it's helpful, I can point both the court and counsel to where we indicated in our letter. I will find that.
Is that the letter of June 24th?
The June 24th letter, Your Honor, it's page 3, the first full paragraph.
Judge, may we approach if that's appropriate?
I do not really see any need to approach at this point. We're just talking about this paragraph. I take it you received that letter, correct?
I received all the letters that were on the pacer. Yes, Judge, of course.
You're doing that to alert Miss Blank Becker of what you're talking about.
That is correct.
All right. My recollection was that you said you met them, Jane Doe number 5, and Miss Savage at I think it was at the hearing after Mr. Kelly's arrest on the Illinois federal charge. Is that correct? That was my recollection of the testimony, or maybe you had talked to them on FaceTime or something before.
Judge, do I recall that they were at Dunkin' Donuts one day? They were dropped off there prior to court, and
I'm talking the first time you met them.
I'm sorry, the first time, yes, Judge, it was. I had a FaceTime call with my client Munson too, representing him, and he had turned the phone and I had said hello to them, yes.
So you had never had any interaction with them before, correct?
Yes.
And prior to them being represented by Ms. Rodriguez, you hadn't had any. Did you give them any advice whatsoever?
Judge, the first time I was contacted, I believe I supplied that to the court as well. was, I have to look, but I believe it was July 12th, 13th by Jane Doe number 5.
And so prior to that, you had never, during the course of your representation of Mr. Kelly, you hadn't had any interaction with them at all in the nature of legal or any advice. Just bearing in mind that I think it's not just, even if, even if it's how to deal with the media, that is something that is also under the umbrella of legal advice because of somebody's interest in how they receive publicity. So I'm referring to that as well. Nothing else?
Judge, I may have seen them in court prior to that, but me personally interacting with them, that is correct.
Is there anything else the government wants to add?
Not with respect to this issue, Your Honor.
And anything else from the defense?
No, Judge.
Miss what is it? Harmedy? Anything from you?
No,
Your
Your Honor.
Okay, let me ask Mr. Harmani, do you need to talk to Mr. Kelly any further? There's one thing that I want to place on record that is based on my interview with my conversation with Ms. Rodriguez. And after that, I want you to tell me if there's some additional conversations that you want to have with him. Obviously, I'm not going to relay the specifics because they are protected by the attorney-client privilege. But during the inquiry, Ms. Rodriguez related certain instances where Ms. Becker gave Ms. Rodriguez's clients advice that conflicted with the advice that Ms. Rodriguez had given her client. And as I said before, even if the discussion is about public image or media or anything of that kind, that is also contained in the definition of legal advice. There could be two questions there. It could be that if this advice was given, it's just what Ms. Becker thought was good advice, but it also represents but she also represents Mr. Kelly, and as a reasonable person could conclude that she was gaining their confidence and giving them advice that was designed to help Mr. Kelly, not necessarily them. Now, I'm saying that this is what a reasonable person could conclude. And I think it's in the record that at least from Ms. Rodriguez's perspective, I believe this is, let me check with my law clerk. When the relationship was ended, they told her to send their file to Ms. Becker. So clearly there was conversation going on, and it's a situation where when you are representing one person and you want to find out what the witness have to say, that's fine. But when they're represented, that poses an ethical conflict. And not all ethical conflicts require this sort of inquiry or certainty that counsel can be taken off the case. But in this instance, there is a plausible accusation of violating the code. Whether or not that actually happened, that can create its own pressures on a lawyer to refute that violation, to refute that accusation. So I just want to make sure that Ms. Arminetti, I know there is sort of a related issue to some of the other issues that have come up, but do you need any additional time to discuss this particular feature of this with Mr. Kelly?
Your Honor, we discussed similar issues. I would appreciate if I could speak with Mr. Kelly for a moment before answering the court whether I need.
Why don't we do that? So you don't have to do that with all of us watching here. What's the best way to do that? To take him in the back? Okay, let's do that. We'll be in recess for just a minute.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. I know it's cold in here. It's either freezing or you're on fire, so there's not a whole lot we can do about it. In my experience, it's better to be cold than hot. Anyway, I'm sure it will be hot on another date. That's just the way it is. Let me ask Ms. Harmedy, have you had enough time to discuss with Mr. Kelly, not just the conflicts that were identified or potential conflicts that were identified in the submission, but I guess I would say a somewhat different but related one that came up today.
Yes, Your Honor. Just with this additional time, we were able to discuss it sufficiently.
I see. Have you discussed all of those issues that were raised in the letter?
We spent time discussing all four other issues that were raised in the government's, I think, on June 14th letter.
Okay, in your review, does he understand what what those conflicts are?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is he capable of waiving those?
Yes. Melendez.
Melendez.
Okay, hold on. Wait, what page are we on?
Page 29, line 20.
Hold on. I knew I was on where I needed to be. Page 29. I think I always be skipping up and down. Okay,
Line
page
20.
29.
I'll go ahead.
Hold
Your
on.
Honor.
Okay, go ahead.
You can go ahead. I can't find it.
Before Your Honor begins the inquiry, as Your Honor pointed out, the government mentioned additional potential conflict in its submission, and we would ask that the extent Your Honor has concern with respect to doing a more detailed inquiry for the purpose of not discussing sealed information. The court would consider so that the record is clear and it is an abundance of caution. Doing doing the inquiry with respect to those other issues via sidebar or some other method for the purpose of making sure that for the as well as the interest of the defendant and the interest of the government to make sure that the records is clear as possible.
Well, I mean, I can do that, but Mr. Kelly is sitting over there at the table, so I'm not quite sure how that would work. You want him walked over here and ask him over there?
If that's possible, Your Honor.
I think that when we first met, I mentioned that there were things in there that I think the government also agrees are there's not a sufficient basis to conclude that they actually happened. But the concern is that that a lawyer might be concerned about making sure that this didn't get out of something like that. I can't think of the name of the case, but it's akin to a lawyer. It says Fulton.
Holton.
Right, Fulton. The lawyer was accused of something that's not true. Excuse me. But the lawyer may have an interest in defending herself or himself from the accusations. I think we can do that without identifying those things that we don't think there are any basis for. I don't think that's necessary as long as we're making reference to. And you can point to me the paragraphs in the letter that I can even have Caruso counsel show that to Mr. Kelly because I know they have discussed it. And it's just and Caruso counsel has also advised that she's gone over all those things with him. I'm just going to for belt and suspenders. I'm assuming that are as a part of that conversation that you advised Mr. Kelly that the question isn't whether certain accusations are true or untrue. One of the possible issues is if there's any accusation out there, the concern is that the lawyer's interest will be defending himself or herself from the accusation, regardless of whether it's true.
Yes, we discussed that.
Does that sound sufficient?
Your Honor, if the government has an opportunity to hear the inquiry and then perhaps have an opportunity to be heard afterwards, we'd appreciate it.
You will let me know. So let's get Mr. Kelly I think if counsel can give him the microphone. Mr. Kelly, just make sure it's on. You are vaccinated.
Yes, ma'am.
So you can pull it over toward you.
Thank you.
What does having been vaccinated have to do with it?
I guess being close to the mic, 6 feet. They weren't. I don't know.
Oh, okay, okay. I was like, okay.
Go ahead, it's your turn.
Oh, Your Honor, if I could note one thing that may make this move a little more smoothly as you begin the inquiry. As defense counsel noted, Mr. Kelly has some reading limitations. And so, to the extent, Your Honor, references something in the filing, we would just ask that Ms. Haramati have an opportunity to speak quietly to the defendant so that it's perfectly clear.
So, based on what I've reviewed, Mr. Kelly, I have determined that Ms. Becker has potential conflict of interest in representing you. I also determined that you can waive those conflicts if you are informed about what they are. And if you consent, you can continue to have her represent you. The potential conflict arise. One of them is because of the evidence that Ms. Becker had substantial contact with potential witnesses and may have developed a relationship of trust with them, even though she were never formally retained as their lawyer. She has confidentiality obligations to them. And given the nature and extent of those communication and the context of them, she would have conflict if she were to cross-examine either one of them. So that's one of the conflicts. Related to that conflict is also this question of whether there is an ethic violation involved in that. In those contexts, and if there is an ethical violation or an accusation, of an ethical violation. The concern is, as I said before, in speaking with the government, the concern is that a person would be motivated to defend himself or herself from the accusation in a way that might keep the lawyer from asking certain questions or calling certain witnesses. That's what the concern is. The other conflict, which I don't think there's a factual base for them, but it's the same question. And I've asked Caruso counselor, Ms. Harmati, to review with you and advise you about all of those concerns. Now, the general issue here is that whenever a lawyer has a conflict of interest, what's in the lawyer's best interest and what's in your best interest as a client may not be the same. And so you have the constitutional right, as I think I've advised you before, to be represented by a lawyer who has no conflict. You also, within certain limitations, have a right to choose your own counsel. We also have a situation where you have two other lawyers, and so that's also something you can take into account. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions so that I can be sure that A, that you understand what the conflicts are and that you are in the position to tell me whether or not you waive them. So are you willing to answer those questions?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
So, do you have any conditions or anything that would interfere with your ability to understand what's happening here in court today?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now, you're currently represented by Ms. Blank Becker. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you satisfied with her services so far in this case?
Yes, I am.
All right. And do you intend to go forward with Ms. Blank Becker as one of your lawyers?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
And she has had, as you are aware, there is certain evidence that has had sustained communication with potential witness in this case. Are you aware of that?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
As I said before, there are risks to being represented by a lawyer who has those conflicts that have been raised in this case. So, to the extent there's an attorney client relationship, it doesn't have to be formal. To the extent that Ms. Becker gave legal advice of any kind to a potential witness, that means she owes that person a duty of loyalty, and she might be prevented from either investigating leads or introducing evidence or challenging a witness testimony, and that includes Jane Doe number 5 or calling another witness Miss Savage. if she were to rely on information that she received in a privileged communication. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Now, she also may have gotten some privileged information from either of those two witnesses that might help your case, but she can't disclose it to you because of her ethical duties, and she couldn't share that information with either Mr. Canick or Mr. Farinelli for the same reasons. Do you understand that?
Yes, I understand, Your Honor.
She would also be prohibited from cross-examining or doing a direct examination of any witness with whom she's had a privileged conversation, including Jane Doe number 5 and Miss Savage. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor, I do.
Now, as I stated before, she has a duty of loyalty to people that she's given legal advice to, regardless of whether there's a formal relationship. That duty continues even after the relationship ends. So she owes a continuing duty of loyalty to former clients or anybody she's gave legal advice. There's a chance that she could make decisions that consciously or unconsciously could be influenced by how those decisions might affect the people to whom she owes a continuing duty of loyalty. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then related to that, although is the question of becoming an unsworn witness, having gotten information from witnesses. But again, since you have 3 lawyers, if that's a concern, one of the other lawyers can take the witness, can do the examination. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Now, in addition to that, there are certain allegations, and I think the best thing to do might be just to refer. I'm going to ask Miss Cruz Melendez. I think it would be EFC number 107. Might contain what the concerns are. Is that right?
The June 14th letter, which is, I don't have the ECF number directly in front of me.
That's okay.
That's
That is okay.
June 14th, 2021.
And I'm just going to direct Miss Harmonetti to the letter, and in particular to the second paragraph of page 2. And just if you can direct Mr. Kelly to what I'm talking about.
I will do that.
And related to the information in the paragraph following that.
I'm sorry, the paragraph following related to the unsworn witness issue. I believe the second paragraph on page 1 is that it?
So the second paragraph, beginning
Oh,
on
sorry.
page 1, which goes into the top of the page 2, as well as the first full paragraph of page 2.
Okay, so you reviewed those specifics?
We have.
Your Honor, just one other thing. With respect to the second full paragraph, which is technically paragraph 3 on page 2, I just wanted to note that in addition to Jane Doe number 5, there are additional witnesses or potential witnesses named starting at the end of the line 3 into line 4 that would also be included with respect to the unsworn witness issue.
Okay, yeah, we just said that.
Okay.
I think we did, didn't we?
I believe we covered the unsworn witness.
Thank you, Judge.
That is all right. So specifically, that second paragraph on page 2, Mr. Kelly, have you reviewed the contents of the paragraph with Ms. Harmonetti?
Yes, Your Honor, I have.
You understand what's contained in them, correct?
Yes, correct.
And also, in the paragraph on the preceding page, which I actually think we discussed the last time, but I also don't think there is much of a foundation for it, that also contains a separate allegation, and Ms. Harmonetti reviewed that with you, not just today, but in your prior meeting, correct?
Yes, correct.
And again, the general issue is that an attorney who has committed unethical conduct And I'm not saying that anybody did, but that the general question is that someone who has done something unethical may want to hide that conduct, and an attorney who is accused of unethical conduct, even if that person didn't do it, may seek to dispel the impression that she did or he did not, or he did. If the person did it, they may want to hide it, and if the person didn't do it, they don't want the accusation to come out. That's basically what I'm saying to you. In either situation, the lawyer could make decisions that aren't in your best interest in order to protect yourself or himself from the information. So again, I think I mentioned this before. A lawyer may choose not to call a witness or to avoid certain kind of questioning because of the concern that it could affect their lawyer's career. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And the other thing is that an attorney who is accused of wrongdoing or of some of the things that are contained in that letter might not be able to give you a completely independent or unbiased assessment of whether you should go to trial, whether you should testify, things like that. Do you understand?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions about any of the things we've just talked about so far?
No, I don't.
There may be, and I identified a few issues here. There may be additional issues that come up. Nobody can predict every possible conflict or issue that may come up. And if later in this case there's more information that comes up or the conflict becomes more serious, I may have, um, I don't know that this will happen, but it's always a possibility that I may have no choice but to disqualify the conflicted lawyer at the time. Do you understand?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Now, I explained earlier that the court appointed a respected member of our bar, Ms. Harmonetti, who is independent of the case, and her role was to advise you of all of these potential conflicts. And I understand that she has met with you and advised you about the concerns that are raised in those submissions. Have you had enough time to consult with her, or do you want to get any additional advice or guidance from her? Don't hesitate to ask if you want it. You're not under any pressure to make this decision at this moment. If you would like, we can take a recess. You can consult with Ms. Harmonetti once more about these issues. And if you want, I will give you a half hour or so to talk to her to make sure you understand everything about it. Because the next phase, just so you're prepared, I really want to make sure that you understand what the conflicts are. So I will be asking you specifically to describe those to me. And when I'm going to ask you, and then I'm going to ask you just to make sure that you understand what all your rights are in connection with this. So I think it's probably a really good idea to take a half hour or so, meet with Ms. Harmonetti, and make sure that you don't have any additional question. That is what we will do. We will recess for a half hour. Before we do that, I don't know if there's any other questions that either Ms. Harmonetti or the government wants me to put to Mr. Kelly before he consults with her.
Nothing from the government, Your Honor.
Anything from you, Ms. Harmonetti?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so let's recess for that period of time and then we'll resume. Okay, so, all right, let me ask Mr. Kelly. Have you had enough time to consult with Ms. Harmony about the issue that are involved here and about what you want to do?
Yes, Your Honor, I have.
And do you think that you're in a position to tell me whether or not you want to waive the conflict of interest?
I believe so, Your Honor.
So what I would like to start with first, and if you need some time to speak with Ms. Harmonetti at any time during the course of this inquiry, I will give you as much time as you need. But what I would first like to do is just ask if you can tell me what you understand the potential conflict to be in general terms, and what the risks are that are associated with those potential conflicts.
Okay. Thanks, Your Honor. First of all, as far as Jane Doe number 5 and Miss Savage, I understand that as far as Miss Becker, it's hard to pronounce as far as the concern if there's a conflict of interest. I understand if I waive, she will be able to question, but she will be very limited to as far as the questioning them.
She may not be able to question them at all. And he says, and I
And I
understand.
understand that as well.
And so, in terms of that portion of it, the fact that she may be limited to the things that she may ask him, do you understand that she cannot share any confidences that she's learned from them with any other member of your team?
I do. Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Now, aside from that representation question, the appearance that perhaps she provided legal advice to them, there's a separate question in connection with that. Her contact with them having to do with potential ethical violations or whether or not they were committed is not the question. The question is when a person is accused of that, when a lawyer is accused of that, it may make the lawyer make choices which are not in your best interest. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Can you explain it back to me? If you want to consult with Ms. Arnetti, just let me know.
Give me a second. Give me a 1 second.
Sure. And then Rob says, oh, he's so
Sorry.
polite. That's okay.
I know that if Miss Blank Becker talks to any client that were represented by another attorney, that she could try to cover that up and make herself look good instead of focusing and paying attention on to she on what she should do for me. She should be doing for me, basically in my trial. I understand that.
And then there were a couple of other matters that we won't refer to specifically, and just for ease of reference, they're the items that Ms. Harmonazzi showed you in that letter. Do you recall what those are?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
And in general terms, what is your understanding and the reason why that conflict or potential conflict could pose difficulties for you?
Well, I think for one, they're rumors, and that all they are to me.
And that's all they are? Okay. Right. Do you understand the risk that even if something isn't true, a person should take steps? Make sure the rumor didn't get out. Let's say that. Do you understand that?
Uh, uh, I understand that, Your Honor.
And that's related to what we just talked about with the ethical concerns. And you gave a pretty good description of what the concern is. Do you understand that this concern is pretty much the same concern?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
The final related question to the contact with the witnesses, although this is rated by the presence of other lawyers, is the extent to which having learned things from those witnesses. Even putting aside the question of giving legal advice, a lawyer could put herself in the position of being an unsworn witness. That's the third related concern. Do you understand that one? Let me have Ms. Harmonetti explain it to you once more, and then I will give you a shot too.
Just one moment, Your Honor.
Sure.
I believe we're ready.
Okay, so what do you understand this potential conflict to mean?
Your Honor, When the attorney was explaining it to me, it sounded perfect, and I totally get it. I just don't know how to repeat everything she just said.
Let's do this. Let's do it this way. And by the way, there are not easy concepts for anyone, so I can understand that. But let me just first make sure you do understand what counsel explained to you, correct?
Yes, correct.
And the risk is, and it's a little bit subtle, but the risk is that if a lawyer has a conversation with a witness and the witness testifies in a different way at trial, the lawyer can certainly question the person about it, but the lawyer cannot say that it didn't happen. This is what you really said, but the lawyer is not a witness. The lawyer is a lawyer. How did I do, Ms. Harmonetti? Okay, Ms. Beck.
Nicole,
That's
that's precise.
precisely what
Oh, go ahead.
Mr. Kelly and I discussed.
So that's the reason the lawyers can't be a witness because the lawyer is a lawyer. Is that clear to you?
Very clear, Your Honor.
Okay. So I also want to make sure that you understand, and I think you do, you have the right to object to having Ms. Becker represent you because of these issues. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Okay. And after speaking with Ms. Harmonetti and hearing what I have explained to you, and based on that, on the advice that you have gotten from her, do you still want to continue with Ms. Becker as your lawyer?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor, I do.
Do you understand that by choosing to continue with her, you are giving up your right to be represented by a lawyer who does not have a conflict of interest? At least you have two lawyers who don't have a conflict of interest, but at least insofar as she is concerned, you are giving up the right to have a third lawyer that doesn't have a conflict of interest. Do you understand?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
No, he said that part I don't.
Oh, God. Oh, wait. Oh, that part I don't. Sorry.
Okay. So you have two lawyers who, as far as I know, are not conflicted. You got Mr. Canick and you got Mr. Ferminelli. There is no allegation that anybody is conflicted. Ms. Becker is not your only lawyer, but I want to be sure that you are giving up the right to have her represent you without a conflict of interest. Do you understand?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
And that means that if you were to be convicted at trial, you couldn't later claim that your lawyer, Ms. Becker, wasn't an effective lawyer because she had these conflicts or potential conflicts. Do you understand?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Is there anything else you need to have explained to you or that you need to consult with Mrs. Harmonetti about?
No,
No.
no.
Any other questions that the government wants me to put to Mr. Kelly?
Nothing, Your Honor.
I think, based on the record, that we've established that Mr. Kelly is fully competent and capable of making an informed decision, that he has been advised by respected counsel, Ms. Harmonetti, and that his waiver of these potential conflicts or conflict is knowing that and intelligent. And so I accept the waiver. And at this point, I think it's fine to excuse Mr. Greenberg and Mr. Leonard, who I think are on the phone. Is that right? Yes, Your Honor.
Yes,
Yeah,
Your Honor. Yes, Judge.
Yes. So you are excused for representation in this case. And Ms. Harmonetti, you have the thanks and respect of the court for your efforts in this regard. I greatly appreciate it. And I don't think we need to have Ms. Harmonetti spend any more time with us here unless she wants to, okay?
thank you.
Thank you so much. I do want to address a couple additional issues. I received Mr. Canick's letter regarding some
sticking points at MDC. And before we begin this proceeding, and I'm sure the government has something to say about it, but I did speak to Peter Lee, who gave me some answers to those particular questions, but I have a second solution to this problem. So I'm just going to list what I have learned from Mr. Lee, and just bearing in mind that these are, I'm sure you are well aware that there are certain restrictions about what can be brought into a facility, but nonetheless. So let's just start in order. The issue is not being able to bring in the binders. I'm advised that you can bring in red welders, but you cannot just bring in a binder with metal, and you can bring in folders. The issue with regarding to pens and the like, you can bring in pens and pencils and sticky notes, but they can't, no highlighters or markers. Now, the issue with the laptops, you are able to bring in multiple laptops, hard drives, and there are computers in the visiting room to which the hard drives can be connected. For security reasons, they ordinarily don't allow chargers, and this apparently has been the policy in the MDC. But hard drives can be brought in. Now, just the last thing, and I'm not quite finished with this, but I have another suggestion for you. But there's this question of diabetes. Has Mr. Kelly been diagnosed,
Yes,
Mr.
Your Honor.
Kelly? Is he
Yes,
on
Your
medication, insulin? Okay. Is he on medication, insulin? I know he was diagnosed pre-diabetic. Because of COVID, he can't bring food into the visiting room, but he can come and go to get whatever nourishment he needs. But I also just, it's not something that was brought to my attention in terms of an actual diagnosis. So if there's a medical order,
Your Honor, we will, just to let you know, Your Honor, when he showed symptoms the other day of experiencing an episode, he eventually was taken back upstairs.
okay.
And that took an hour plus away. I thought they were running him upstairs and getting a candy bar and come back downstairs, but that's not the case. Suf- Suffice
Suffice
it
to, um,
to saying we're trying to do the best we can with what we have, and we will continue.
the third option is we can also make arrangements to have him produce here 3 days a week. Now, that has attendance difficulties for Mr. Kelly because that requires him to get up early. There are also restrictions when you, I'm sure you're aware, there are things you can't do, right?
Right.
After this proceeding is over, we will give you contact information to make that happen if that's what you want. The only thing is you can't do it on Friday.
Very. May I have a second?
Sure.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And there may be something that you don't want to do, which I fully understand, but we will see if we can get, if there's something that you want to take advantage of.
I will discuss it with the others. I don't know if there will be face to face meetings because if you come here, there's a screen, there's a mesh. We want to show a computer. I don't think there's any reception in the Marshall's pen, and there's a mesh screen where we wouldn't be able to exchange documents.
There will be no internet in either place. There is a security issue in the facility and also downstairs, at least in terms of a hard drive or a thumb drive. And I'm acting like I know these things work, but you are able to bring those in. So you can speak with, let me make sure if that's all right if we do this. You can speak with our courtroom deputy about the mechanics of the that other method, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Now, I just want to also remind the parties of a couple of things. Our final pretrial conference is August 2nd.
Your Honor, is that date flexible?
Yes,
Can we consider August 6th or 5th?
that's not a problem. Which date do you want?
The 6th around 11?
Sure, I don't anticipate it's going to be take very long, but August 6th at 11. Now, the government has submitted a list of people and organizations and places that will be included in the questionnaire, so jurors would know whether they know any of the organizations or things like that. So the government submit that list. I guess it might need to be updated.
It's
It's pop.
possible. It's possible, Your Honor. There might be, as well noted in our letter, there might be a few names that we would add to the list.
I didn't get a separate list from the defense, but I'm assuming take a look at that list. The deadlines have passed, but I assume that was because whomever you were going to call or whatever you were concerned about was on that list.
That's pretty much.
Double check that because the jurors are coming in. The questionnaires are going to be distributed the week after next. There are two names that we would like to be added.
I'm sorry.
They're not okay.
They they're not witnesses, but individuals who will be part of the defense team.
That was going to be the next area. We also will need a list of people that are going to be in the courtroom. I think everybody is vaccinated, but I don't know if the paralegals are.
One is an attorney filing an appearance. Don't get upset. We won't be asking go for additional time. He will be here and ready to go. That will be Kelvin Scholar.
So he's going to file a notice of appearance.
Yes, and I don't know if the government needs to add his name to whatever list that is.
I will let you know. I will, I will let you all work that out. The bottom line is we want to make sure that the juries that we don't have a problem. I don't want to I do want to make sure that I'm giving you the right information about what information that will need about the people who will be here. But I think that we can probably do that separately. I don't want to say anything that doesn't apply. The motion and limelight are due by oh, I'm sorry, that's not limelight. The motion and limine are due by July 19th, and I know we received one from the government, and any opposition is July 26th. I will give you a preview. I believe Mr. Mechanic is the only one that I have had the pleasure of trying a case with, but just some sort of basic things. This is fairly a low drama courtroom, and so I would like to keep it that way. The other issue generally is I'm not a huge fan of sidebar conferences. I'm not saying an absolute no, but I generally find them to be unnecessary and distracting to the jury. So just as it's just something that I look forward to. So I may not always grant your request for a sidebar conference.
That's a
I don't
lie.
permit speaking. I know, right? I don't permit speaking objections, and so just say objection and something you will win, and sometimes you will win, and sometimes you won't. But usually we won't just move on from those without extended argument. That's not true. Of course,
Sounds
if
like
there's
she lied.
of course if there's something that you just desperate need to tell me, we can deal with that. But I think most of the time we just move on. I'm usually under I usually understand that your objection is, but that doesn't need to be extended conversation about. There doesn't need to be extended conversation about it. I will give you some more of those details once we have our final pretrial conference on August 6th at 11. And I just want to know if there's anything else that either side needs to put on record. Let me start with the government.
Nothing further from the government.
How about the defense?
Nothing
Nothing current.
further. Nothing currently, Your Honor.
All right. So, Mr. Canick, or whomever, if you want to find out how to go about, if you want him brought here, you don't have to. But if you want that, Donna can help you with that. All right, everyone. Thank you so much.
Your Honor, I'm very sorry to get you back to in the courtroom, but I thought we could resolve this issue while everyone is here.
It's fine.
So, if I may explain, Your Honor, on July 13th, the government obtained a search warrant for Mr. Kelly's DNA that was signed by the Honorable Judge Cho, James Cho, a magistrate judge in this court. The warrant indicated that we do this at a mutually convenient time and alert defense counsel. We indicated to defense counsel by email yesterday that we proposed doing this while everyone was here in court so as not to inconvenience everyone again, particularly the issues that have had in meetings with their client, and we provided a copy of the warrant. No one objected to that. I made I made sure that I made sure they got a copy of the warrant again when I spoke to them before court this morning. I got an inquiry saying, "Can we get a copy of the affidavit?" I said it is currently under seal. We will be filing for a limited unsealing order, and we do we provide it. We were all set, and we have our law enforcement officers here to do the swabbing, and they just told us that they refused unless we show them the affidavit. I don't think that is the proper procedure. They're entitled to challenge it after the fact.
I think that's right. I'm positive that that's not the procedure. So there's a warrant. If the warrant authorizes the taking of the DNA, if the warrant, you can't request a hearing after the taking of the DNA on the basis of the judge's determination. But there is no cause to see the affidavit now. I'm not saying that you have to do this. When is that going to be available? When are you going to make the unsealing order?
I was going
I,
to propose.
I was
I
going
was
to
going.
propose a judge to make it to you right now a limited unsealing order for the purpose of providing the affidavit to the defense counsel, and assuming Your Honor grants it, it will do it. I will do it as soon as I get back to my office. I will email them the affidavit.
I mean, that's the way to go. And if there's something in the affidavit that makes you think you want to challenge the basis for the warrant, you can do that. But I think it makes the most sense. I mean, you don't want to interrupt your time consulting with Mr. Kelly. So I think if everybody is ready, you should just go ahead and do it.
Thank you, Your
Thank
Honor.
you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Anything from your side?
We're
We're good.
good. Thank you, Your Honor. We would
I'm trying to
you
read.
all over. Go ahead.
We're good. Thank you, Your Honor. We would consent to the government's application regarding the unsealing order.
It's a limited. Shall I sign it now?
I will send Donna a copy, but it would be a limited unsealing order just for these purposes.
Okay. Thanks. Thank you, everyone.
Whew, thank you.
Meeting adjourned. Matter adjourned.
What do you think? What do you think, y'all?
Okay,
Seeing
so
court reporter put uh, um oh,
what is that noise? It's killing me.
prospective juror.
What you say?
Did you
I think he should have dismissed this Nicole person, to be honest.
Yeah, I think he should have fired her.
Yeah.
Like it would have just made more sense to
Because
fire her at this
now,
point.
because now he can't file ineffective counsel, basically.
But she didn't really do much. She didn't really play a big role in it anyway. So
No, I'm talking about from his whole team. She's a part of the team. So now, because he didn't fire her, ineffective counsel cannot be one of his rebuttals or
Yeah, it can be a
appeal.
defense. Yeah.
Because she was talking to them girls and she should not have been. Azriel was the lead. Okay, she already had been, in my opinion, Azriel had already been a defector. She had already been working with the government, right? So why are you talking to his lawyer when you already know? R. Kelly doesn't know at the time, but we later found out that she's been working with the government. So I'm sure, I don't know, she was a snitch, but he didn't know it at the time. I'm sure the lawyers knew.
I don't think they knew until she like officially flipped. Like I think she was working with the government like earlier that year, but
The government knew.
No, they thought oh, she's the girlfriend. Let's help her. I think Nicole was like, okay, she's his girlfriend. Like let me try to help her and give her some advice on certain things, not knowing that she was giving the government information the whole time.
So if he had fired her, so now that would have been a good reason to appeal, because it's a conflict of interest. Point blank, period.
But they said he can't say that.
He can't say
no.
Counsel. No, yeah, he can't say that.
No, he can't.
And they explained that to him, but he was just like, "Well, I understand," but I don't think he really understood. Well, he didn't know what the
it's just rumors. Remember, he said it was rumors.
What did he think was rumors?
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, he did not understand what was going on.
He didn't understand.
I think that's what's really that's what he needs to appeal. Like he didn't understand what was going on.
And they brought up the fact about his. I hate to even say disability, because I don't know how disabled, in my opinion, he may have. I think maybe he may have had some dyslexia, maybe. But I don't know. I think you would have to explain it to him. I don't know if he understood, because I would have told her, no, I don't want her. And did she say much? Did she do the opening? Was she the one that did the opening?
Yeah, that's the one that said vote him guilty. Sorry, my mistake. Not guilty.
I'm telling you, yeah. Now we can't. I mean, not we, but he can't even fight ineffective counsel, because she'd been tainted.
Right. And she was probably telling him, "Oh, well, this isn't that big of a deal, and yeah, I was talking to them, but it's not that big of a deal." She was probably telling him it was not that big of a deal. I'm sure she was in his ear telling him stuff. I mean,
it's all a setup to me.
Yeah, doesn't it seem like it?
All of it. Because they're lawyers. They know they're not supposed to be doing that.
But I think
and then you got Azriel. Why? She's the leader of the pack. She's talking for Joy. She's the one signing. She's doing all this, and know that she flipped. It's just too much. It's just they set him up. I'll say that till the day I die.
I wonder if she reached out to them or Jane Doe number 5 reached out to her.
Jane Doe number 5 reached out. Sound like to me.
That's what I thought too, but I'm like,
Azriel reached out.
Yeah, she should have still known not to do that with her. And her lawyers. Now, Sylvia, was that the lady that was on your channel?
Gloria, yeah.
Which one was she? Rodriguez?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because she represented them at first. and then she
Yeah,
stopped.
for about a month and a half from July to August.
And so if
Okay.
she's telling Becker to stop talking to my clients, why is she still doing it?
I don't know.
She was part of the setup. Sound like to me. And
Because
why did Greenberg quit?
he didn't quit, he was fired, right?
And why was he
He was
fired?
fired. I don't know. I can't say. I don't know.
Yeah.
He
But he's still
was
representing
fired. I
him in
don't know why. I know he was
Chicago.
fired though.
But I think he's representing him on the Chicago case still.
But I don't even know if that's a good idea, because it's like if you already were fired from one case, like you already kind of have a negative relationship with the person. So why would you want to be there? Why would you still want to represent them?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, are you just doing this for clout? Like, why do you still want to represent this person? Like,
I
you were fired.
know.
My
I
throat's
don't
itching.
know. It's just too much.
And you can tell Leonard's done, but I mean, he'll do whatever Greenberg does. So he'll, I guess, try to grin and bear it. But I mean, why would you even want to be linked to him at this point?
So, Miss Sylvia, when is the August 6th? August 6th is in
what?
Chicago?
Huh?
October.
October
October. I'm sick.
20th.
Gross.
October 20th.
October 20th. So we'll see if Greenberg's there. I don't know.
He'll be there.
Yeah, he's still on the case. He hasn't gotten off because
Yeah, he's still on the Chicago.
Yeah,
Yes.
see, that's what I thought. I thought in here it said Greenberg asked to be taken off.
That's what the media
He
said.
was
He was
fired. He
fired.
was fired.
He was fired.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
from New York case.
Yeah, we heard him fire him. Well, I did.
Yeah,
What'd he
Sylvia
say? You're
did too.
fired?
I heard it.
Yeah, he was
You were in
like,
court?
huh?
No, I was on the call.
Yeah.
And he fired him?
Hmm.
Wow. Mm-mm-mm.
I just don't know how effective he'd be in Chicago. I mean, I know he has more relationships with like judges and stuff in Chicago than New York, but I mean, there's already bad blood with getting fired. So but I don't know.
Yeah.
I also don't know if he'll be able to find counsel at this point. What do you think, Sylvia?
I don't know. You asked it. I don't know. Oh, you talking about for Chicago one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think he'll find counsel.
Mm-mm-mm.
But
What is the chat saying? What do they think? They think it's a setup too?
I
I
don't know.
don't think
It's
Robert
so
Sylvester
weird.
Kelly should have ever been charged in New York. That should have never been a court case.
It says because he was ineffective counsel, that's why he was fired. Okay.
So if he was ineffective
Mm-mm-mm.
in New York, how would he be effective in Chicago? Because weren't they
Don't
like
know.
neglecting him? Because they were like neglecting him and stuff too.
When you say neglecting, what do you mean?
His I know for one example, his mental health services. He was telling him he needed mental health services, and they wouldn't get it for him.
Why? That's cruel. Why?
Crazy, isn't it?
They wouldn't get him any.
Am I correct me if I'm wrong? Am I right, Sylvia?
Is
I'm right about
is
that,
that
right?
in New York,
What?
Chicago?
Say again? Which
They
one?
wouldn't get him mental health services.
It should because he just
No,
got.
but they wouldn't before. Remember, he was asking them to get him mental health services, and they wouldn't do it. I thought that
Yeah.
was one of the reasons he got rid of them. He wanted to get rid of them in New York.
Because they weren't doing anything.
Devils.
But I'm glad we read this, and it wasn't too long.
Yeah, there is another part, but I don't feel like reading that one tonight.
Oh gosh.
What's that part? Yeah, what was
That's the
that?
other. That's the pre-trial thing. They're gonna finish off the Curcio, and then they start the trial.
So are we rereading it, or like what are we
We never
rereading
read
about
it.
it?
We never read it. It's the August 3rd.
Oh. So where did we start reading? We started reading at the beginning, like with opening arguments. Is that what it is? We started reading?
We didn't start. We didn't read it at all.
Oh.
Mm-mm-mm.
Well, you know I'm available most nights,
And the
not
night.
during the day.
I know. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for everything. I'm about to hit the sack. Go to sleep now.
Okay.
Annie, she disappeared. I wasn't looking at the computer. Did she leave
All
us?
right.
Did Henny leave us? Guys, what do y'all think about what y'all read? Talking about effective diabetes on the man.
What'd you say?
No, I was reading somebody's comment.
Oh.
Lisa's comment.
Whole team should have been changed. I agree, Samantha.
Don't forget the petition, y'all. Don't forget. Those who haven't signed it, please sign the petition.
It says they're charging him with the Mann Act for Geronda. That alone is grounds for an appeal.
Huh? That's what what's the name said, because it's the yeah.
Wow.
So was he charged? So he wasn't charged for anything for Calhoun.
Yeah, he was. No, that was uncharged.
So it was just
Yeah.
So it was just JP.
Geronda. It was Azriel, Geronda,
And Faith.
Stephanie, the girl Stephanie,
Who's
the other one.
Stephanie?
I don't know. One girl.
Was there a
Oh.
lawyer on yesterday, Miss Sylvie? Which one do I need to watch for that?
I don't remember which one it was. It was a lawyer. It was Joel. He was on the phone. I don't know which one it is, but I did 3 lives yesterday.
Said you're sleepy, Miss Sylvie. You're gonna talk out the side of your neck. So y'all, we go to
I
bed.
know, I'm about to fall asleep. Thank you.
Hang up this phone.
Look, I just fell asleep for a second.
Oh my gosh. Good night. I'm done.
Good night, ladies.
Good
Thank
night,
you.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Oh my God. Good night, everybody.